Hey everybody, thank you for joining me in my presentation on psychoanalysis in America. I apologize for any outside noises that might happen. Let's jump right into it. So, what is psychoanalysis? It can be defined as a way to put meaning to behaviors or thoughts. For example, my puppy brought in his squeak toy while I'm recording because he wants attention. Freud used this free association to kind of be the centerpiece for psychoanalytic practice as a way to just get women, hysterical women, to really open up and be able to dive deep into what the root of the issue was, what was causing the hysteria, I guess you could say. And at the time, he and Joseph Brewer were writing a book, and they had some disagreements about the meanings of what people came up with in their sessions. When discussing psychoanalysis, there are some people we should know. First is Sigmund Freud, who is known as the founder of psychoanalysis. While he was doing his clinical practice in Vienna, he specialized in treating hysteria in women mostly. And I believe this is what got him into wanting to know more about the psyche and what things mean to people, their behaviors, and where they came from, really digging to the root of the issue. And he especially liked using dreams as a way to interpret repressed memories, behaviors, thoughts that came out during free association. So while trying to uncover the unconscious, let's dive right into talking about Carl Jung. So Carl Jung developed the word association as a way to connect things, to be able to interpret things themselves, making a list of words and how it associates with their behaviors and other thoughts. He's best known for exploring the unconscious, and something new to me that I didn't know was that he had pioneering work in schizophrenia, and I wish I could find more information on that. One more historical figure we should know is Alfred Adler, best known for inferiority complex, which was proposed as an alternative theory of Freud's. But he first got into it by being inspired in a way by Freud's interpretation of dreams book. But he had different views away from Freud's obsession with sexual motivation. He wanted to include like childhood illness and not being good enough compared to older or I guess more talented siblings. I wanted to include a current psychoanalysts to the list of people so we can kind of connect it to present day. So I chose Dr. Nancy Chodorow, who defines psychoanalysis as, quote, the method and theory directed towards the investigation and understanding of how we develop and experience unconscious fantasies that form psyche, self-identity, and how we construct and reconstruct our felt past in the present. So it was a little difficult to find a psychoanalyst that are currently working, but I found that she works in Berkeley University in California, and she does a lot of things all over the country. I highly recommend doing some research on her. So some psychoanalysis in America history. One of the interesting things that came about was the 1909 conference at Clark University, where people like Freud and Jung and many other people got together for a whole weekend and do lectures and talk about psychology. Would have been super interesting to be there had Freud not talked in German most of the time. Or, if I knew German, it probably would have been way more interesting. But that is beside the point. They got to get to know each other, hang out, talk, shop, and it was a really interesting read. Highly recommend looking it up. Conferences like that have happened since, and even now. I had some classmates go to one, I believe, last spring, and they had a blast. It was super informative, and it's really an experience of an academic career. Even in the past 50 years, technology and knowledge have developed dramatically, and even in the past few years, we've utilized the internet, social media as a way to communicate challenges and ways to overcome said challenges and ways to benefit everyday life and access to mental health through this very global device that is cyberspace. And using psychoanalysis as treatment for mental disorders still going on. The one that I have listed on this slide, I do not know if it's still going or what the conclusion was to that, but I'm sure it's out there, and I'm sure since 2003 there's a ton more. So that's all I have for this Psychoanalysis in America presentation. Thank you for listening.